So you're going on a bike tour. You spent countless hours researching your bike, researching the gear you want to take, researching the weight of your bike, maybe even considering what gear to leave at home. But I bet you haven't spent countless hours researching bike touring safety. And that's something that you need to consider before taking off on a long trip. Today, let's talk about 9 safety tips to consider when you're going on a bike tour. Number 1, carry a whistle. I carry a Fox 40 whistle everywhere I go when I ride my bike. The main reason I carry a Fox 40 whistle is to startle dogs that might chase you. Whistles are something that you can keep around your neck or keep in your handlebar bag and pull out if you see a dog chasing you or a dog that might chase you. And although the whistle might not completely stop a dog, it's going to startle him enough for just a second that you can gain some distance between you and the dog. Number 2, always use a mirror. Now, some people prefer the mirrors that attach to their helmets. I prefer the mirror that attaches to my handlebars. Either way, it's important to have a mirror so you can see the traffic approaching behind you. Usually I try to listen for a rumble strip sound so I know that the car is getting over, but I'm also watching in my mirror to ensure that they're giving me enough room. Mirrors can give you a few precious seconds to react if something goes wrong. Number 3, use a light. I personally use the Bontrager Ion Pro white LED light on the rear of my bike. I choose that because it's very bright. I personally think it's a lot brighter than a red light, and I want to be safe, so I use the brightest light that I can find. I realize that in other countries it might be a requirement to have a red light on the back, but I use the white light here in the US. I also keep a Bontrager red flare light to use when it's dark out. The LED light is too bright to use at night. It hurts people's eyes, so I put the red light on at night. Number 4, wear bright colors. It's really important to be visible while riding, so you need to wear bright colors like neon, red, blues, something bright to catch people's eyes. Also consider the environment that you're riding in. One time I was driving around in Moab, Utah, and I kid you not, there was a cyclist on the road who had burnt orange shorts and an olive green top. He just blended right into the scenery, and I didn't see him until the last second, and it scared me half to death. Even if you're into wearing the earth tones, you've got to be seen. That's the most important thing. Number 5, pay attention to the cars that pass you. I've been in situations before where I noticed the same car pass me 2 or 3 times within a 5-minute time frame. Although that could be a little startling, they might be innocently interested in your setup. Maybe they've never seen a bike tourist before. But honestly, when it all comes down to it, you just never know. Number 6, don't tell people where you're camping that night. It's pretty typical for people to ask you all kinds of questions on a bike tour. They ask you, how many miles a day do you ride? Where do you sleep? How much does your bike weigh? All the typical questions. A lot of times, people ask, where are you staying tonight? And although it might be an innocent question, you just never know their motive. So I always try to give very vague answers when people ask me where I'm staying. Almost always, I'll say, well, I haven't really decided yet. I'm not really sure where we'll end up tonight. And that way, you're still being friendly, but you're not giving away where you're going to be. 99% of the time, they're just being nice and trying to make conversation, but you just never know, and to me, it's not worth the risk to share my detailed plans. Number 7, know when to ride on the shoulder and know when to ride out in the lane. Now, obviously, if the shoulder is wide enough and gives you enough room for traffic to go safely around you, that's your best option. However, unfortunately, sometimes there's debris in the shoulder, sometimes the surface of the shoulder is full of potholes, and it's just not an option. Typically, if there's not much of a shoulder or if the shoulder is unrideable, I'll hop out in the road and I try to stick kind of close to the shoulder. In some locations, it's actually legal for cyclists to take the full lane. Unfortunately, this is probably going to make some people mad, people who aren't aware of the fact that cyclists have full rights to the road, at least here in America. Every situation is different, so it's up to you to decide whether or not it's appropriate to ride on the shoulder or out in the lane. Number 8, Don't react when people get mad. Unfortunately, some people aren't as friendly to cyclists on the road. They don't realize that they have the full right to be on the road just like they do. And they might roll down the window and yell something at you. They might lay on their horn. Whatever they do, don't react, because they are wanting to get a reaction out of you, and you don't know what they're gonna do if you do react. So don't throw up your hands, don't yell anything back, just keep on trucking. Number 9, know the weather patterns of the area that you're gonna be riding. Now, I'm no meteorologist, but I'm kind of a weather nerd, and even I have found myself caught out in a storm because I wasn't aware of the area's weather patterns. On my Trans Am bike tour, I was riding across Kansas. We actually found ourselves stuck in a hailstorm, and it was crazy. We actually had to duck down in the ditch with our helmets on to protect ourselves from the lightning and the hail, and then we ended up running to somebody's barn to take cover, and it was a crazy night. The next morning I woke up and I had mud splattered all over the side of my bike. The fun thing about bike touring is you never know what the day is going to bring. Hopefully these safety tips were helpful for you, and good luck on your bike tour.